G'day, how's it going? It's your mate, Failbait, coming at you with a Legends 101 video, this one about winning the lanes. So decision making is a key aspect of the Elder Scrolls Legends, and no more is this clear than in their unique lane system. This is an instructional guide for new, returning or casual players looking to learn how to win the lanes, and in doing so gain advantage in a match using footage from the Go For monthly finals game between Koveras and Joe. To start, when I refer to winning the lane, I mean having a stronger lane in terms of stats, minions or effects in one lane over the opponent. And this guide will discuss how to win lanes in 3 separate parts. The first will be value trading, the second will be spreading the threat, and the third will be playing reactively to win back a lane. Then the first few plays, Joe gives us a good example of each. To start, winning the field lane is generally to the starting turn player's advantage. Playing a card in the field lane first means you get to determine how the first minion trade goes. If they don't contest the minion in that same lane value-wise, you have won the field lane and it allows you to contest the shadow lane. So in his first playable turn, as we saw there, Joe opted for the field lane, providing himself with control over that lane and prompting his opponent Koveras to respond. Koveras does so by opting to win the shadow lane. In doing so, each of them is in control of a lane, but it works to Joe's advantage, as he is the proactive player on his next turn. This is because the field lane he is already in control, while in the shadow lane his minion will have cover, allowing him to choose how to trade. Joe then gives us an example of proactively spreading the threat, while also reacting to the current board state. He plays his first minion, a 3-3 with lethal, in the shadow lane to contest his opponent's 2-3 minion, as we see here. Due to it having cover, it will survive one turn, and since it has the keyword lethal, will easily trade to Joe's advantage. He draws another playable minion and is presented with two options, field or shadow lane. He opts for the first in the field lane, and it's a stronger play. The reason why I think it's a stronger play is that it establishes multiple threats across both lanes. Since the 1-cost 1/1 stat minion isn't a threat anymore moving into turn 4. It's actually a liability, being the weakest minion in the field with no effects or keywords. So having a minion with lethal in each lane means that Joe gets to determine the best way to value trade with his opponent, who must deal with both threats and provide an answer of their own, and if not, Koveras will ultimately lose complete control of both lanes. And what we see now over the next few turns is that Koveras is forced to play reactively in an attempt to prevent Joe from continuing to dominate both lanes. On his turn 3, Koveras had the answer to one of Joe's threats, but not the second one. That answer will come in the form of a firebolt, and then on the next turn he'll have a ward to stop one attack, but again it's a low value turn, since he provides only one answer while there are still many other threats left on the board. And as such, Joe's plays bring up another good point. That is, if you have clear advantage in one lane and in the game itself, either in health or hand advantage, you don't have to dominate the other lane, just make sure that after each turn you still have the lane won. So there, as we saw, the firebolt came down, it dealt with one threat, but 3 threats still remain on Joe's board. And at the end of Joe's next turn, the set of their 2 turns, Joe will be in control again and have won both lanes. Now, despite Joe having the lower stat minions in the shadow lane, its ability to trade effectively, a weaker minion being able to kill a stronger minion, with its lethal ability, and Joe being able to play proactively, he still has both lanes won. On the other lane, his dominance there is clear. He has more minions, better stats, and useful keywords, in this case lethal. So what will come up next? Again, are strong attempts by Koveras at winning back the shadow lane. It's a good example of how to win a board back, but also a good example of how playing reactively can be to your detriment. So here, as we can see, Koveras is opting for another slow turn, just playing the simple guard like I said, and it's easily dealt with because of the lethal trading minion. And is playing defensively here. Joe again is able to push for his aggressive proactive game plan and gain card draw, gaining advantage in just about every aspect of the game, board, health, hand, and again pushes to that advantage by dealing face damage by trading effectively. And as we will see on the next turn, turn 5, Koveras is forced to play defensively once more, summoning here the 2 ward minions, Barrow's Stalker, and then playing a shackle minion, preventing his opponent from attacking. In theory, Koveras has won the lane in turn 5 by having answers in the wards and the shackle, and presenting threats in his own minions. However, this is not entirely true in practice. This is because Koveras cannot proactively deal with the minions since he cannot attack. This was entirely a reactive turn, and it took 3 cards to win a lane that had only 2 from Joe. So from a value perspective, this is an expensive cost for Koveras. From here, Joe is able to ride out his early game advantage and continually press the aggressive and proactive game plan. Koveras, on the other hand, was forced to play reactively starting from turn 2 all the way up till turn 6, never once truly winning a lane or any sort of advantage during the game. Joe goes on to win this game, the rest of the match, and the tournament for that day. So the importance of winning lanes is twofold. The first is that it enables you to determine the trades between your minions, allowing you to determine then the value of each of your minions. The second is that regardless of the lane, it allows you to play proactively and present more threats at a time that your opponent must have answers to. So since playing proactively and winning the lanes sooner rather than later is to your advantage, make sure you win lanes as quickly as possible. So this has been your mate Failbait, giving you a Legends 101 video on how to win the lanes, and hopefully it has been of some use to you. Until next time, keep winning those lanes.